fuck is kombucha? Hello everyone, and welcome back to Hello everyone, and welcome back to Kombucha Culture, where, as we like to put it, love to try and compare the various high-quality kombuchas found at the local AJs. Today we're presenting 3 various brands and flavors. First off, we have the Health-Ade kombucha.
This sells for $3.39 a bottle. Eloquently crafted glass here. I like the thicker side,
very
a little
girthy,
shorter. Much girthy is the word I was looking for. We've got a gradient on the label which suggests the bubbly rose flavor. It's quite new. You can find it on shelves at your very own AJ's today.
One thing I love about the Health-Ade kombucha is the various flavors they have, and it's easy to find, easy to access.
Next we'll be looking at the Wild Tonic June kombucha flavor, blueberry basil. This one appears. Quite again a girthy bottle.
Yes.
With the addition of this little shaft towards the top.
Fine craftsmanship.
Fine craftsmanship and blue glass, which is an interesting choice we don't see very often in the.
We love to see just curveballs like that thrown into this kombucha culture. It makes for
It really makes a brand stand out.
And then the last fine kombucha we have today is this very nice Brew kombucha.
Which, if I may say, is a personal favorite of my own.
Yes, it's definitely known for its interesting flavors, and it definitely throws a little mix into the mix.
Without further ado, let's get into our first kombucha. If you would go over what comes in this one.
Yes, of course. So this kombucha has 7 grams of sugar per serving, which is generally a little more, but I also noticed that it's very simple, very organic, not that many ingredients, which makes it a prime option if you're choosing for that healthy kombucha. And that's definitely what they try to market for. Very fine craftsmanship on the bottle. Definitely something, nice to look at. Has anchors on it. Very fascinating. Looking forward to the rosé flavor that it has. I'm expecting something very tarty, very fruity perhaps. But looking forward to trying this one. Yes.
Glass in hand here. You see that it's got quite a citrusy color to it. Very effervescent scent there.
You should definitely smell the rose in it.
You can tell the quality of a kombucha when the little cultures flow towards the top, as opposed to sink right to the bottom.
Of course.
I'm not sure whether or not this one would be considered of a high quality, but based on that fact alone, I would say it's definitely in your upper echelon of kombuchas.
Of course.
Shall we get into our first sip?
Of course. Very fascinating what we have here.
Words are almost not enough for the complexity of this flavor.
One thing I'd like to point out is very mild carbonation, very mild flavor. Definitely something that's a lot more easy to stomach than most kombuchas you find out there. Great color to it. Very strong, but like I said, mild, which makes it easy.
Well, it retains the flavor of the kombucha culture and that vinegary signature scent of the drink. It is masked by that mild flavor, like you said, as opposed to some other brands that are a little more acidic to the taste or a little overpowered with sweetness. It's mild in both counts.
Yes. Definitely would recommend this to the beginning kombucha. If you like your booch strong, maybe you can look to other booches for that. But this one I think is very entry level. Maybe made for everyone, definitely advertised for those trying to be healthy. So definitely check this out if you're new into kombucha and want something to start at. Like we all know, kombucha is a very acquired taste for many, and this could definitely be the entry point for many people.
Agreed. Out of 10, where do you think you would put this one?
Well, let's see. Clink first. Pinky's up. I'd rate this at a solid 7.
I think I could get behind that, maybe a 7.5, even 8, depending on how these other ones perform.
Of course, we'll definitely have to compare it to the other two.
On that note, we'll move on to our second selection for today, and that is the Wild Tonic Blueberry Basil. We've already gone over the bottle structure, but just at second glance, it looks as if this is also rather low on the ingredient count.
Very simple, very organic.
Simplistic, not a lot going on there. You don't want too many things in your kombucha.
Never.
That suggests less natural and raw to the kombucha integrity. This one has filtered water, honey, which is something signature for this brand. Not a lot of kombuchas are sweetened with honey.
I was just about to say, Jake, the June kombucha is very much known for its honey flavor. Generally a lot more sweeter than other kombuchas because of the addition of the honey. Although it's very healthy because of the honey, still low sugar, 5 grams of sugar per serving compared to the Health-Ade. Very healthy, easy, organic. Looking forward to trying this one.
Shall we?
Of course. Well, let's do this one.
You can, right from the beginning, you can smell that honey undertone.
Of course.
And the basil too is a little strong on the nose.
Basil's very strong.
I'd say it's on the woodsy side as opposed to tart.
Very woodsy.
It's almost like a fine cologne of sorts.
You know, this one really takes me back to Rome.
I must say the scent on this one is just a standout from the start. I must say it puts it above Health-Ade as far as the nose goes.
You know what they say, the nose goes.
Nose goes, but for a taste.
Wow.
I mean, again with that honey flavor. Unbelievable.
Very, very interesting. What we have here is a large variety of flavors that combine and mix into something beautiful. With the honey and basil, you know, it's a very organic, woodsy taste, I'd say.
Agreed.
And it really creates for a beautiful kombucha that's unlike others.
I'd say specifically where it differs is that vinegary kombucha taste is all but gone in this particular brand.
Indeed.
And it's that woodsy kind of masking tone and perhaps that honey and basil sort of mixing together that really makes it not overpowered with a sweetness that gets rid of that flavor. It's still quite mild as far as the tart sweetness that you get in some kombuchas.
Yeah.
But it's enough to really mask the more acidic and bitter tasting qualities of the drink, which is quite interesting.
Definitely nothing bitter about this. It's extremely sweet. Creates for a very interesting and different kombucha experience. Now, I wouldn't maybe recommend this for the beginning kombucha taster, but once you know your way around the field, I definitely recommend this brand to those who are trying to branch out, trying something new, because it's a very different, earthy taste compared to others.
I agree. I think if somebody who doesn't have a detailed knowledge of kombucha and in its many range and variations in flavor and taste, starting here would really be quite misleading for such a taster, as they won't have the more developed senses for those undernotes that are so hidden in this one. And so I believe this would be an upper level kombucha for sure. Not because it's harder to stomach, but almost that it's easier and could be misleading for those who don't fully appreciate what goes into a kombucha.
Indeed. With that being said, I think it's time to move on to the third and final kombucha of the night, our Brew Doctor kombucha.
Well, the construction, as we said, is quite classic. It's a very simplistic bottle shape. What I do find different about this one is the twist-off bottle cap delivery instead of the rescrewable ones, which gives it kind of a authentic sort of feel to the experience.
It also means that you got to buckle up.
Indeed. And again, this one is pretty low on the ingredient count. We've been very good about finding very natural kombuchas for this episode. It's only the various brewed tea flavors, which is green tea, rosemary, peppermint, sage, and dandelion root, cane sugar, and then just the live kombucha culture, which, as we know, is yeast and bacteria.
Of course. So from this one, I think we expect a very organic taste, maybe a less sweeter taste than the others, based on what we know. But definitely going into it open-minded. I think we should take a little sniff.
So as you see, the color is obviously quite different from the others. It's not only a pale yellow as opposed to the orangey kind of pinkish tones that we're used to seeing, but it's a little less clear, almost a little more clouded as you try and look through it.
Very effervescent smell we have here.
Agreed. It's hard to place just where that's coming from, too.
One thing I noticed is the larger amount of bubbles we have in this. What do you say?
Cheers.
Interesting.
From the beginning, and maybe it's that carbonation you spotted, it bites a little more than the other two.
Yeah, it's definitely a strong bite.
Right. So this one, again, is less of an entry-level kombucha. They got it just right when they named this flavor Clear Mind, because not only do I feel my stomach slowly kind of easing into the carbonation of this drink, but it gives you that sense of calm and clarity in which you feel centered in your kombucha drinking experience.
Indeed.
As opposed to some of these other options we had, which have some more active flavors going on. They sort of make the mind buzz a little bit. You jump from taste to taste, but this one, because of the simplicity, it's quite a centering experience as far as kombucha drinking goes.
And I think to say that the simplicity is part of the beauty. With this brand, as we were saying earlier, they have much more simple, vague flavors, such as Clear Mind, which is definitely an interesting marketing point from them, but also creates a lot more beauty in the drinks, and you just love to see it. You love to see it.
Where do you think we can go about ranking them as a group?
Well, I said we had the 7 for this.
Indeed. I think we didn't quite get to the ranking of this one before moving on. The Brew Doctor can often do that to you. It really gets you excited to move on and drink some more kombucha.
Yes.
Yes. I was strapping to get to that one. It's a shame we left it for the end. Wild Tonic, I would say, while it is one of the most enjoyable flavors, I believe it's a little less authentically kombucha. And so therefore, I'm going to give that one more of a 6 out of 10.
Well, you see, Jake, that's where I beg to differ.
Oh, really?
I think that the sweet taste of this is fascinating, and this is something I could see myself drinking quite a lot. Although it may not be one of the more original core kombucha drinks, I think it adds an interesting twist. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one an 8.5.
Oh, wow. Well, to each his own, as they say.
Of course.
Moving on to this one, I think I have to give this one the highest score of the group. While this is 7.6, I would go for 8 with that one. For me, while it is one of the less sweet ones, I believe it's more true to the authentic history of the kombucha flavor. It encapsulates what kombucha was meant to be, in my opinion. Whereas the other ones, while quite lovely and unique, just stray away a little bit from what kombucha originally started out as.
Interesting.
And I like the callback to earlier instances that this drink gives us.
Yes, I agree with you for the most part. I think the authenticity and effervescence. I agree with you for the most part. I think the authenticity and effervescence that this has is quite stunning. It's definitely one of the more core kombuchas, and I'm also going to have to give it an 8 because it stays true to itself. It's natural, and it just cleared my mind.
All right, and as is tradition at the end of our episodes, as a tribute to the kombucha god GT Dave, we combine the leftovers into one.
Of course.
For those of you who are new to kombucha drinking, this is standard anytime you drink more than one kombucha in a sitting.
Of course.
The combining of the fragrances brings us a new experience every time.
Ready to get drunk?
Ready to get drunk.
Cheers to that. Pinky up.